Hey guys, it's the Drabble Geek here, and welcome back to another Pokemon unboxing where I think I'm going to have another hard time opening this package again. So I'm going to start doing it now while I'm talking. So for me, it is almost Thanksgiving break, and it's like one of the few holidays I get off of work. So that will be fun. I have no clue what else I'll be doing, but I'll actually be able to go home for a while. So that'll be fun. What am I doing? Forgot how to open this from last time. I'm also trying to not see what the bottom card is. But yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't see what the bottom card is because there's like a gigantic sticker on the bottom. I have a feeling I'm supposed to rip out that sticker. Yeah, I was supposed to rip that sticker. Alrighty. That is all the plastic. Because this person uses so much. But I guess I should be happy that they get to me fine, though. Alright. I think I have this right side up. If not, oh well. But let's get back to the Pokemon cards. Alright, first we have a Snorunt. Yeah, I'm always messing up showing my cards to the camera. I'm so bad at this. It is said that several Snorunt gather under giant leaves and live together in harmony. Well, it's in a cave in here, so unless the thing that's around it is the leaf. Who knows? Alright, next we have a Fuecoco. And it's different from Snorlax that it won't die in the rain, maybe. Okay, so I don't know where that came from. Whether it was like the card game, the anime. I don't think it was the RPG. There was some rumor that if a Charmander's tail goes out, it will die. I don't remember where that is from. I just know that it got real dark real fast. But let's read the Fuecoco. Or Fuecoco, I think, yeah. It lies on warm rocks and uses the heat absorbed by its square-shaped scales to create fire energy. So, in the desert with him. Alright, next we have a Blipbug. Often found in gardens, this Pokemon has hairs on its body it uses to assess its surroundings. Kind of like a spider, kind of like a caterpillar. A little bit of both, probably. Alright, next we have a Gligar. It flies straight at its target's face, then clamps down on the startled victim to inject poison. But is it its teeth or its stinger? Or what about both? Looks kind of like a bat, but it's also looks like a scorpion. Like I know bats technically don't have venom, but who says Pokemon don't? Alright, next we have a Houndour. They make repeated eerie howls before dawn to call attention to their pack, because it's time to go home and go to sleep, which is very understandable, honestly. Alright, next we have a Tinkaton, the one with the hammers, I believe. The hammer tops 220 pounds, yet it gets swung around easily by Tinkatonka as it steals whatever it pleases and carries its plunder back home. that mean the hammer is 1/10 of a ton? I think. Yeah, it might be just about 1/10 of a ton. But this thing is also only 2 foot 4 inches. Yeah, that's a lot of weight to be carrying around for something so tiny. Alright, next we have a Garbodor? I don't think I know this, but it looks like it belongs in Grouchland. The toxic liquid it launches from its right arm is so virulent that it can kill a weakened creature instantly. Kill, not make pass out like is usually done in these games, just straight up kill. Okay. Alright, next we have a Flittle. Kinda looks like it belongs in Beauty and the Beast. It spends its time running around wastelands. If anyone steals its beloved berries, it will chase them down and exact its revenge. As it should be. Don't mess with someone's food. Although I wonder if it's a squirrel and they'll half forget, so if anyone just happens to find it, they'll still enact their revenge. But either way, that's still hilarious. But probably because I don't know what moves it would actually do. Who knows what it does. Alright, next we have a Charcadet. Oop, here we go. Burnt charcoal came to life and became a Pokémon. Possessing a fiery fighting spirit, Charcadet will battle even tough opponents. Alright, next we have a Tinkatink, which I think is the first version of the Tinkatonk we got earlier. This Pokémon pounds iron scraps together to make a hammer. It will remake the hammer again and again until it's satisfied with the results. And then once it's happy with the results, it evolves. That'd be interesting though. Alright, next we have a Onyx. Looking like the creepy snake, but I guess that's what it is. It rapidly bores through the ground at 50 miles per hour by squirming and twisting its massive, rugged body. Alright, next we have a Gimmighoul. I think Gimmighoul. I think this is supposed to be like a mimic, I think. This Pokemon was born inside a treasure chest about 1500 years ago. It sucks the life force out of scoundrels who tried to steal the treasure. That sounds more like the mummy's curse from like all the ancient quote unquote um, um what they did to keep um historians out and, let's be honest, grave robbers. But I'm pretty sure it was just old diseases that the modern at the time immune system just couldn't handle. I'm pretty sure that's what it really was, but also God being angry at you is also a very good explanation. Alright, next we have a Goobat. Looking like it's shouting from its armpits. Again. Zubat lives in caves down where the sun's lights won't reach. In the morning, they gather together to keep each other warm as they sleep. Alright, next we have a Pumpkaboo. And this is quickly becoming one of my favorite Pokemon, quite honestly. Just so cute. The light that streams out from the holes in the pumpkin can hypnotize and control the people and Pokemon that see it. Well, it's lucky it's so cute. Alright, next we have a Remoraid. It's been a while since we got one of these guys, I think. I also have a very bad memory, so possible that's not true. Using its dorsal fin as a suction pad, it clings to a Mantine's underside to scavenge for leftovers. Right, next, we have a Clefable. Alright. Their ears are sensitive enough to hear a pin drop from over a mile away, so they're usually found in quiet places. That's sad. Not sad in the way of like it's alone, but it's just like that just feels like it hurts because I often like just wear my headphones, so I can't really hear anything else. I like to be insulated in my headphones, so I kind of get that in a way. Alright, next we have a Larvitar, being a cute little baby. Born deep underground, this Pokemon becomes a pupa after eating enough dirt to make a mountain. Alright, next we have a Malamar. It looks like some evil bird villain from some anime. It evolves from Inkay, but it looks like a bird. And looks like it's wearing a suit. Alright. It's said that Malamar's hypnotic powers played a role in certain history-changing events. I believe it. That's creepy. Alright, next we have a Granbull. It's like a pit bullish kind of thing. Although it's popular with young people, Granbull is timid and sensitive, so it's totally incompetent as a watchdog. But isn't that the thing with Snubbull, or was it faking it when it was a child? Maybe. Alright, next we have a Paldean Clodsire, which looks like a land whale, let's be honest. When intact, this Pokemon will retaliate by sticking thick spines out of its body. It's a risky move that puts everything on the line. That's horrifying. Alright, next we have a Tympole, which just looks like an electronic tadpole. That's what I'm going with. It uses sound waves to communicate with others of its kind. People and other Pokemon species can't hear its cries of warning. Oh, wait, warning. As in they're coming or they're trying to keep others away from them. Alright. Next, we have a Magneton. I think I pronounced that correctly. But why is it covered in fire? Okay, the orb around it is definitely fire. 3 Magnemite are linked by a strong magnetic force. Earaches will occur if you get too close. Good to know. Stay far, far away. Alright, next we have a Exploud. Kind of looks like a Tyrannosaurus. Kind of with like the frills at the back. That's what it's kind of giving me. Or a hippo. The frills give me Triceratops. Is it Triceratops? Tyrannosaurus. I think of Triceratops. I don't know my dinosaurs. And the mouth is giving me hippo. This Pokemon can do more than just shout. To communicate with others of its kind, it'll emit all sorts of sounds from the holes in its body. That's gross. Alright, next we have a Wiglet. And I'm pretty sure it's just the Diglett of the ocean. This Pokemon can pick up the scent of a Melusa just over 65 feet away and will hide itself in the sand. Okay. I don't think I know what a Melusa is. Alright, next we have a Minor? Minor, I think, maybe? Looks kind of like a cannonball. This is its form when its shell has fallen off. The color of its core depends on the materials that made up the food it ate. So there's supposed to be a shell? Or is that like on the evolution? I'm not sure. We have another Charcadet. This looks like the same description, so I'm just going to continue. Next, we have a Dondozo. It kind of looks like another land well, if I'm being honest. Or is that a river? I can't tell. This Pokemon is a glutton, but it's bad at getting food. It teams up with a Tatsugiri to catch prey. I don't think I know what a Tatsugiri is either. Alright, next we have a Purugly. It would claim another Pokemon's nest as its own if it finds a nest sufficiently comfortable. Understandable. Alright, next we have Phalanx, I believe. The little robots. The leader, known as the Brass, uses its extendable horn to issue orders to the others when it's time to change formation. I'm guessing the one with the two-toned horn. Because I can speak, guys. Alright, next we have a Fletchling. Fletchlings can be found in both rural and urban areas. They once had a huge territorial dispute with Squawkabilly. Fights broke out all over town. Sounds like geese, almost. If you go in their territory, they get very upset. Alright, next we have an Applin. Applin lives inside an apple. When an applin is separated from its apple, its body loses moisture and the Pokemon grows weak. But what happens if the apple dies? Or does it just stay alive because the applin's in it? Alright, next we have a Talonflame? Kinda looks like a hawk. Kinda get those vibes. When it gets excited, it vents sparks from the gaps between its feathers. These unburnable feathers are used as a fireproof material. Interesting. Is this a fletchling? It says it evolves from a fletchinder. I wonder if that's the evolution of the fletchling we just got. So I don't think I've seen this one before. Alright, next we have a Crobat? Okay, I have definitely not seen this one before. I thought it only stopped at 2 evolutions and ended at Golbat. This Pokémon flaps its four wings skillfully. Crobat can fly through cramped caves without needing to slow down. Cool. Alright, next we have a Absol, and I'm just loving the art. Because of this Pokemon's ability to detect danger, people mistook Absol as the bringer of doom. Kinda does look like a Yeti. So that's understandable. Alright, next we have an Orthworm. And no, I'm not just stuttering on Earth. Orthworm. When attacked, this Pokemon will wield the tendrils on its body like fists and pelt the opponent with a storm of punches. Nice. Alright, next we have a Magpie. Like, looking like it's sneezing, to be honest. This Pokemon makes its home near volcanoes. At the end of the day, Magpie soaks in magma, resting and recovering from the day's fatigue. Alright, next we have a Seadra, which mainly just looks like a very angry seahorse. Which it probably is. Seadra's mouth is slender, but its suction power is strong. In an instant, Seadra can suck in food that's larger than the opening of its mouth. I'm Xing to doubt. Alright, next we have a Porygon. I kind of call this the first Digimon. People who watch Digimon are totally going to hate me, but I find it hilarious. In recent years, the species has been very helpful in cyberspace. These Pokemon will go around checking to make sure no suspicious data exists. Alright, next we have Flamingo. Dancing. This Pokemon apparently ties the base of its neck into a knot so that energy stored in the belly does not escape from its beak. Yeah, that sounds very uncomfortable. Alright, next we have a Simisage, I think. It's the earth monkey, I think. Ill-tempered, it fights by swinging its barbed tail around wildly. The leaf growing on its head is very bitter. Why do you know what the leaf on its head tastes like? Oak, I have some questions for you. Alright, next we have another Absol. Next we have a Gliscor. Kinda looks like a giant metal bat. Yeah, it just looks like it's like shiny and metally. Its flight is soundless. It uses its lengthy tail to carry off its prey. Then its elongated fangs do the rest. And it looks to have 6 of them. So it can do quite a lot, I suppose. Alright, next we have a Phoebus. It's a shabby and ugly Pokemon. However, it is very hardy and can survive on little water. That's probably why it looks sketched out. Alright, next we have a Bounsweet. Looks just like a tiny little berry. Its sweat is sweet, like syrup made from boiled down fruit. Because of this, Bounsweet was highly valued in the past when sweeteners were scarce. Okay, that's probably you can get that from a history book. Oak didn't necessarily try and taste one of these things. That is more reasonable than knowing what the monkey tastes like. Alright, next we have a Blitzel, the lightning zebra. Its mane shines when it discharges electricity. They use the frequency and rhythm of these flashes to communicate, like a lightning bug. Alright, next we have a Panpour, which water monkey, essentially. The water stored inside the tuft on its head is full of nutrients. Plants that receive its water grow large. Probably partially a defense mechanism. If the plants around it grow large, it has more protection. Alright, next we have a Tatsugiri. Is this the one that was on the Wiglet card? Or this was on another card. I don't remember off the top of my head though. Tatsugiri is an extremely cunning Pokémon. It feigns weakness to lure in prey, then orders its partner to attack. I think it was on the Wiglet. No, it wasn't, because that was just about smelling their enemy. I don't remember what other card talked about this one. Oh well, I'll figure it out later maybe. Alright, next we have another Tinkaton. Next we have a Liepard, a swift feline. This stealthy Pokemon sneaks up behind prey without making any sound at all. It competes with Thievul for territory. If I remember, Thievul is no, I was about to say fox, but no, that's Nixit. I don't know what Thievul is off the top of my head. Alright, next we have a Toxel. So cute. This selfish, attention-seeking Pokemon stores poison and electricity in 2 different sacs inside its body. Well, apparently for a baby it's doing quite a lot though. Alright, next we have a Dottler. As it grows in its shell, it uses its psychic abilities to monitor the outside world and prepare for evolution. I wonder if it's like similar to Eevee in the way that depending on the environment, it kind of shifts to adapt to it. That would be interesting. Alright, next we have a Plusly. The Pikachu. I would say like the plus Pikachu, but they kind of remind me of Mossy Minnows from Teen Titans. Because I know there's like a minus version. Minusly, maybe? But yeah, no, they just look like Mossy Minnows. It absorbs electricity from telephone poles. It shorts out its body to create crackling noises. Well, as long as it's having fun. Alright, next we have a Magnezone, looking like a UFO droid trying to absorb humanity. Kinda looks weird. As it zooms through the sky, this Pokemon seems to be receiving signals of unknown origin while transmitting signals of unknown purpose. I might have been close. Alright, next we have a Pidgey, our little pigeon. It is docile and prefers to avoid conflict. If disturbed, however, it can ferociously strike back. That's kind of most birds. As long as you don't mess with them, they just are there. Slowly judging and wanting food, though. Alright, next we have a combi. Love me a bee. At night, combis sleep in a group of about 100 packed closely together in a lump. What is a bunch of these combis just like a hive? So at night they just form a hive? Because I believe the evolution of this is like a queen, and there's only supposed to be like one queen per hive. So that could work. Alright, next we have a baroom, which is this supposed to be like a motorcycle? It looks like an engine. A living engine, I guess. It is said that this Pokemon was born when an unknown poison Pokemon entered and inspirited an engine left at a scrap processing factory. Where did they get poison Pokemon from? Now it's just like, it's a ghost. The ghost is possessing an engine. Call it a day. Alright, next we have another Larvitar. Next we have a Houndoom. Beckoning its prey to hell, I suppose. If you are burned by the flames it shoots from its mouth, the pain will never go away. Lovely. But yeah, definitely more of a devil dog. I love how I said that when hellhounds are a thing. And I could have just said hellhounds. Alright, next we have a Dedenne, another mouse Pokemon. It's small and its electricity generating organ is not fully developed, so it uses its tail to absorb electricity from people's homes and charge itself. So if people's electricity bill is really high, blame the Dedenne. Alright, next we have another Wiglet that's staring at us interestingly. This is the description we wrote before, so I'm just going to move on. Alright, next we have a Barboach. Kind of looks like a worm. A fish worm. Its two whiskers provide a sensitive radar. Even in muddy waters, it can detect its prey's location. What prey? Well, it's a foot tall, so I guess maybe. But this looks like more like its prey instead of the predator. Alright, next card, we have a Lechonk, an adorable little pig. I've always wanted a pig. It's totally unreasonable right now, but I would love a pig. It searches for food all day. It possesses a keen sense of smell, but doesn't use it for anything other than foraging. Sounds about right. Alright, next we have a Tadbulb, the electric version of another one we saw before. Tadbulb shakes its tail to generate electricity. If it senses danger, it will make its head blink on and off to alert its allies. So a light bulb. But I guess the electric version of the tadpole? Maybe? Alright, next we have the Espeon, an evolution. The tip of its forked tail quivers when it's predicting its opponent's next move. Yeah, I always forget it's forked. I usually think of it as two tails, but no, it's just forked. Alright, next we have a Skarmory, I think. I might be obliterating that name, to be honest. People fashion swords from Squarmy's shed feathers, so this Pokemon is a popular element in heraldic designs. It looks like its feathers are its wings, so I don't know how you're getting its feathers. Unless they like shed as new ones grow. Maybe. Alright, next we have a Minun. So we do have Mossy Minos this time. I don't think we have this one before. It cheers on friends. If its friends are losing, its body lets off more and more sparks. That's adorable. Ooh. I also love how this one is grounded. It's real hilarious because the plushie was on a pole in the sky and the minus was at the bottom. So it always goes to ground. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. Alright, next we have a Gabite. In rare cases, it molts and sheds its scales. Medicine containing its scales as an ingredient will make a weary body feel invigorated. Again, that is something that Oak could have read in a history book, so just going to allow it and not make any questions. This is a Mantine? It looks like a baby Manadine. It swims along with a school of Remoraid, and they'll all fight together to repel attackers. Yeah, I think it's a baby Manatine. Alright, next we have a Pansage, the baby Earth Monkey. It's good at finding berries and gathers them from all over. Is kind enough to share them with friends. Alright, next we have a Cyclizar. This is a motorcycle. That's all it is a motorcycle with a head. Apparently Cyclizer has been allowing people to ride on its back since ancient times. Depictions of this have been found in 10,000-year-old murals. So I guess which came first, the motorcycle or the Cyclizer? The world may never know. Alright, next we have a Pineco or Pineco. I don't know which one I want it to be though. It spits out a fluid that it uses to glue tree bark to its body. The fluid hardens when it touches air. Okay then. Just staring from inside its shell. Alright, next we have a Cubone. When the memory of its departed mother brings it to tears, its cries echo mournfully within the skull it wears on its head. Which is like the most, and I'm pretty sure like it's the skull of its mother that it wears. So I'm just like all the baby Cubones around. How do they increase their population size if they're always supposed to wear their mother's skull? Yeah, they feel like they should be an endangered species. Alright, next we have a frogadier, I think? Maybe. It can throw bubble-covered pebbles with precise control, hitting empty cans up to 100 feet away. So it's a sniper. And there's probably one more evolution. Yeah. The first one kind of looks like a starter. Froakie. I don't know if it's a starter, but it kinda looks like one. Alright, next we have a toad scroll. Looks like it's kind of like a poisony one though, based on its colors. These Pokemon gather into groups and form colonies deep within forests. They absolutely hate it when strangers approach. Honestly, same. Alright, next we have a Maril, a water mouse this time. The oil-filled end of its tail floats on water. It keeps Maril from drowning even in a strong current. How is it oil-filled? Is that where like half of it goes? Some of it to its body, some of it's to its tail, just so it doesn't accidentally drown? Because I have a feeling that's why that evolved, because it wouldn't stop drowning. Alright, next we have a Celebi. And Celebi is honestly one of my favorite Pokemons, if not my favorite Pokemon. So I'm actually very happy about this. This Pokemon has the ability to move through time. Records describing it as a forest deity can be found from many different eras. Honestly, I think it was like one of the movies that made me love her so much. And I will continue to love her. Alright, next we have a Salazol. I think Salazol. I can never pronounce this correctly, so we're just going with it. When two Sazal meet, they will use their pheromones to gas each other over the males in each other's groups. So is it the female that does the approaching? I'm interesting. I think they might be a matriarchy. Interesting. Alright, next we have a Slowpoke with his super derpy face. It is always vacantly lost in thought, but no one knows what it is thinking about and is good at fishing with its tail. Well, do anyone know what the Pokemon are thinking about outside of Meow? Well, that one Meow, and I think there's like the Starlings? Starvy, something like that, can also learn how to speak. Something like that, I think. Alright, next we have a Duraludon. Just looks like a gigantic hunk of metal that happens to look like a Godzilla shape. Its metal body is durable, but prone to retaining heat. It vents this heat from the slits in its tail. Yeah, maybe it looks like a exhaust. Metal Pokemon are weird to me, to be honest. Alright, next I have a Crabomindable. I think it's abominable. Abominable. Crabominable, I think. It's crab abominable. I cannot speak. It does look like a crab, and it does look like a yeti, so guess it works. Though its punches are powerful, this Pokemon's movements are sluggish. It blows icy bubbles from its mouth to immobilize its opponents. Alright. Alright, next we have a Mewtwo. I'm getting a couple of like the legendaries this time. A Pokemon created by recombining Mew's genes is said to be the most savage heart among Pokemon, because it will destroy you. It's also one of the Pokemon on one of my binders. Actually, both Mew and Mewtwo are on my binder. So, alright, so the next one is Pancham having a great time and not doing what pandas are supposed to do, which is sleeping. It chooses a Pangoro as its master and then imitates its master's actions. This is how it learns to battle and hunt for prey. Let's be honest, this is the real inspiration for Kung Fu Panda. They just made the panda more panda-like. Alright, next we have another Silazar. Again, it's just a motorcycle with legs. Wait, how does it roll? Like, cause, yeah, the circular things can't roll. So is it just... I don't know how this works. It can sprint over 70 miles an hour while carrying a human. The rider's body heat warms Salazar's back and lifts the Pokemon's spirits. I'm questioning how that Pokemon works. Alright, next we have a Clang. When Clang goes all out, the mini gear links up perfectly with the outer part of the big gear, and this Pokemon's rotation speed increases sharply. Alright, next we have a Koradon, maybe? I think that's a Koradon. Looks really cool. Surprised it's not like a dragon type though. That's what I would expect. This seems to be the winged king mentioned in an old expedition journal. It was said to have split the land with its bare feet. So maybe some kind of like legendary god Pokemon? It also kind of looks like it has that tire thing that Cyclizar has. Now I'm suspicious. They're close enough in number that it could be the same group. Not sure. Alright, next we have a Carnivine looking like a creeper. It's gonna be like, not the Minecraft creeper, but the more I think about it, yes, like the Minecraft creeper. It attracts prey with its sweet-smelling saliva, then chomps down. Takes a whole day to eat prey. Well, it's a Venus flytrap. Alright, next we have a Castform in the rainy form. Kinda looks like it has goggles. I love it. This is Castform's form when pelted by rain. In an experiment where it was placed in the shower, this Pokemon didn't change to this form. Because they're smarter than you. Alright, next we have a Ralts. Just looking at all the flower beds, I suppose. If its horns capture the warm feeling of people or Pokemon, its body warms up slightly. Those are horns? I guess that kind of makes sense. But are they like cat ears or on the front and back of its head? I don't remember where the horns go when they're just standing there. Alright, next I have a Staryu. Also, some of these are getting kind of sticky. I wonder what that was about. Oh well. No number of injuries can bother Staryu. Its amazing regenerative powers return to its previous state in half a day. So you have to really super duper kill it. Alright, next we have a Galarian Yamask. I think we've had this one a couple of times. It's said that this Pokemon was formed when an ancient clay tablet was drawn to a vengeful spirit. Yep, that's the Pokemon I know. Just Ghost. This one is a Snover. Another abominable snowman-looking creature. The berries that grow around its bellies are like ice pops. Galarian Darumaka absolutely love these berries. Are the Darumaka the gift-giving Pokemon? I think those are the ones in Shield that just throw random things at you, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Alright, next we have a Pangoro, looking like its jacket is sweeping in the wind. Yeah, I think that's a jacket, not maybe it's its fur, but it looks more like a jacket. Using its sleeve, Pangoro can predict the moves of its opponents. It strikes with punches that can turn a dump truck into scrap with just one hit. Maybe they should work in a scrapyard. That would be helpful. Ooh, Revarb. Kind of creepy, kind of adorable. I don't know which one it is more. It is said that a dog Pokemon that died in the wild without ever interacting with a human was reborn as this Pokemon. So if there's a bunch of them, do you like all dogs just become Gravevards? Or not? Alright, next we have a Tynamo? Looks like a tiny eel, or like leech. Can't figure out which one. One alone can emit only a trickle of electricity, so a group of them gathers to unleash a powerful electric shock. Alright, next we have a Clobopus? Yeah, I think Clobopus, the boxing octopus. Its tentacles tear off easily, but it isn't alarmed when that happens. It knows they'll grow back. It's about as smart as a 3-year-old. Okay then. So they'll just hang around, I suppose. Alright, next card is a Bunny with its stuffing falling out. The reason it keeps one ear rolled up is so that it can launch a swift counterattack if it's attacked by an enemy. Right, rolled up and not just torn. Right. Alright, next we have a Hatsuna? Yeah, I believe it's a Hatsuna. It's adorable. If this Pokemon senses a strong emotion, it will run away as fast as it can. Prefers areas without people. Again, same. Alright, and last but certainly not least, Zorua? I think Zorua. Maybe. I've never seen this one before. It's really cool looking. Kind of like a Firefox, but I guess for dark energy. If a normally talkative child suddenly stops talking, it may have been replaced by a Zorua. Okay, so this kidnaps children. It couldn't say it kidnaps children, but it kidnaps children. Alrighty. So I think this was like the first one in a while we've had nothing but actual Pokemon cards. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just sometimes interested in what types of like trainers, stadiums, and items we can get. But I am really happy we got a Celebi and a Mewtwo. I don't remember if this is my first Celebi, but again, Celebi is like my absolute favorite. So I am already amazingly happy with this haul that we got today. Um, but yeah, I will eventually put these in my binder. I love my binders. But yeah, no, organizing. Everything else, terrible at organizing. But when I get to like my collections, either my cards or my Pops, love organizing everything. I can't explain it to my mother as much as she hates it, but that's what happens. But I will see you guys next time with another batch of Pokemon cards. I believe I still have like a couple more stuck in my drawer. That will do that next time. So like and subscribe if you would like to see more. All my social medias are down below, and different ways to support me are also down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!